Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Expert Corner. I am your host, Camille Harris, and today I have with me a very special person to me. Her name is Cristina Herrera. I'm sorry, honey, from messing that up, from Cristina Herrera Consulting. And Cristina is so dear to me. She have been my coach on numerous occasions and have helped me through some challenges that have come up. So today, Christina and I are going to talk about change culture versus change project. So hello, Christina. How are you today?
Hi, it's so nice to be here with you. I'm doing great. It's a Friday, so I'm feeling
Yeah.
like great. The weather's out. I'm feeling flirty.
Ooh, guess what? It's thunderstorming here in Dallas. I
Oh
am not.
no.
It's thunderstorming. I imagine you're in New York. So Christina's in New York. I am in Dallas, Texas, right? So
That's
yes, the
it.
weather. Yeah, but we love it. We love it. We love it. So anyhow, Christina, like when I think about change project versus change culture, this is what comes to my mind. And correct me if I'm wrong. So change project is when they bring us in as consultant to do some change, whether it's technology, merger, and acquisition. On my end, I do a lot of technology change. And sometimes the projects are from 10, 11, 12 months. We're not there long enough to help create readiness for the business. So when I hear change culture, what comes to mind is an organization that is agile, prepared, and ready to embark change and is excited about that. And at times, to get an organization to that point takes a bit of effort, especially for those older organization that's in that real old school corporate dynamic that might be a bit resistant to the change. So when change culture comes to mind, I feel like that is the way of the future. But how do we enable organization to move from just, okay, here's a change project to a change culture? What do you think?
So you're spot on. I think the I guess the reason why this is such an important conversation is because change practitioners have some superpowers, right? And these superpowers are both hard and soft skills, qualitative and quantitative. And so when we come in for just a project scope of work, often, we're fantastic at it. We can create a lot of value for our clients, but we're
Mhm.
also limited to the bounds of that scope of work, right? And usually the money and the budget that has been siphoned off for that change management project scope of work it's a done deal, right? There's no real negotiating other than if there's a significant schedule change, for example. But we've got the superpowers and the expertise to advise much broader than just that project. And so when I think about cultural change and really embedding change into the culture, we're looking beyond the typical toolkit that we would bring to a
Mhm.
project. We might pull some things out of our toolkit that are very similar, such as what we do with leadership alignment sessions, hosting focus groups, for example, really defining a compelling narrative, for example, but we're doing that at a macro level across the organization. We're also speaking to work streams at a deeper level. So our talent and succession planning team, we're looking at the head of HR. We're also thinking about the core competencies, I guess, from an org design perspective as well, that is required to actually sustain change as a culture. So what does
Mhm.
it look like? How do we measure it? How do we empower people managers as well to adopt change as a culture and encourage that mindset, skill set, tool set within their
Right.
teams?
That's really interesting. One thing that comes to mind is okay, so we mentioned that a lot of times when it comes to change project, it's for a specific period, right? To me, when I think of change culture, I feel like that is something ongoing. It's an ongoing process. So as consultants, are we even able to make that significant impact when it comes to culture in that time frame?
I think we can plant the seeds for it during that same time frame, during that project. I don't know if we're not engaged for that in the first place, there's very limited, you know, opportunity to really do that. One of the things that I coach consultants on is how to sell, how to pitch themselves. And there's various different methodologies and models for selling. And this is just for sales broadly, not specific to change management.
Mm.
What really is a powerful tool is relationship-based selling. And the
Yes.
reason why is because you're building that relationship, you're building rapport, you're building trust, you're becoming a confidant that actually has an invested interest in the other person's life,
Mm.
no matter what company they're at.
Right.
And so once you start to develop that trust and start to showcase more about what you can actually do for them, how you can add value to their role and the company they're working for, that's when they start pulling you in as an advisor on the side. They
Mm-hmm.
start to pull you in for little projects here and there. So you might not have like the satisfaction of saying like, oh my God, I've landed this huge project. It's, 6 to 12 months. It's going to be XYZ fee. You're not maybe going to get the same immediate satisfaction, but I think the long-term relationship building is
Mm-hmm.
going to yield an opportunity for you to make more value and transition out of project-based change management work and more into that cultural implementation of change as a culture.
I love that. And I think that's what makes you the superstar when it comes to building cultural alignment and relationship. You are just amazing at this. And you are so right. Like a relationship based sale tactics really does work because when you and I think that's what we have in common, Cristina, is that we truly cares and people can sense that authenticity within a person,
Yes.
within an individual. And you're right. So there is an opportunity for consultants to to kind of evolve in our role, not just come in for a project, but like you said, being an advisor, being a coach within these organization and help with these culture. Something that comes to mind, because of course, I work on a lot of project based, which eventually I'm trying to move out of that and move into those advisory level, is what about a center of excellence, like creating that center of excellence or a change management office for that organization, creating change, different change specialists or practitioners within that organization, empowering them and giving them the tools, even when we're not there, to implement these change. And the beautiful thing about this, I believe that when we empower people managers, people that are directly working with individuals that are impacted by change, it's just a beautiful thing. And I feel like by empowering these individuals, supervisors, people managers, team leads, influencers, we are able to nurture that culture. I am one that believe that a sponsor doesn't necessarily have to be an executive. I strongly believe that,
Yes.
right? It's about who within that organization are able to relate to individuals, on those personal level. For example, like I work quite a bit in manufacturing, and as we know, like factory workers or people on the manufacturing floor oftentimes never heard from the CEO or CIO or COO, these executives. They don't know who they are. And frankly, they really don't care what they have to say. And in these situations, like a general
That's
manager,
true.
supervisor can have so much more weight on change being impacted versus a executive level individual.
Yeah, you're spot on. You are spot on. I think a center of excellence is a great way to also ensure that the knowledge management stays within the business. Like the last thing you want to do, even if you have an incredible change project experience, is to, the change is done, we've delivered the project, goodbye, I'm out of here, and then the experience is gone with you. right?
Mm.
Because you are activating the experience, that change experience for the organization. Not only is that experience gone in the activation, but the knowledge, a lot of the
Right.
lessons learned. So you might have a knowledge sharing or a lessons learned session at the end of your project during your project wrap up, but you still maintain a lot of the nuances behind the scenes of what made that change successful, and then you're leaving. So
Mm.
a center of excellence is a great way to ensure that the knowledge remains within the business, that you're also operating from a place of abundance, and you're upskilling people in the organization
Right.
as you're going through the project. Because the likelihood is they're going to bring you back because they had such a great experience. The
Mhm.
likelihood is they also have day jobs and other areas of the business they're supporting. They can't take on projects instead of you, right?
Right.
And I think many times as consultants, there is sometimes a bit of a high threat level, right? Like I need to win this project, or I can't give away my secrets, or, like, like this is my approach, my framework, my model. But at the end of the day, it's about that relationship that we go back to. So a center of excellence is fantastic to build internal core capabilities in change, to
Mhm.
make sure that it can be sustained and embedded post-project into the
Mhm.
culture, into the
Right.
operational norms of that
Mhm.
workplace or that factory or whatever it is. Um, but also to make sure that, hey, you're going to be welcome back. It's okay.
Right.
It's
Right.
okay to share and come with, from a place of abundance,
Mhm.
as long as well as you're respecting IP, because IP is IP. You have to respect it. When there's a conflict of interest, you've got to talk about it. But again,
Right.
it's just how you build trust.
There you go. That is so right. Something that comes to mind as you were talking is, in the world of consulting, we do a lot of contracts, statement of work, and all of that. A lot of times, I've seen where, we have to really stay so close to that statement of work. And in a lot of situations, clients are not even aware of, oh, I need a center of excellence, because of course that's going to be added work. So I would say that in the beginning, I feel like as consultants, we need to review that and ensure that we are educating our prospects from the get-go,
Yes.
ensuring that we are able to say to them, okay, this wasn't added. How about we add this? And, we can talk fees. But when people, I've noticed that when individuals, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter that level of job, that person, that CEO, whatever it might be, executive, they're still an individual. When they realize, oh, you truly care about my organization, you truly care about what is going on, there, that trust is then built, right?
Yes.
Trust is
Yes.
then built.
100%. And I do think that, um, especially now in business, like we've gone through such a change in society, right? Both from like a technological advancement, emerging technologies, societal shifts, shifting in values. We're in a post-COVID world as well. And so at the moment, there's this demand for, again, human skills, which are
Mhm.
incredibly important, have always been important. But with AI learning, because we feed it, it's not just learning on its own. With AI
Right.
learning more and more and more, there is an opportunity for professionals, practitioners like us, to rethink the way we do change. And I know
Mhm.
there's been a lot of fear around, oh God, is it going to take my job? And I don't think it is, because a really effective, a really trustworthy, and a really incredible change manager or change leader who adds value is going
Mhm.
to do things that AI could never do, will
Never,
never ever do.
never. AI cannot replace change. I
Exactly.
feel like change management is one of those fields that will continue to grow and expand, even with AI advancement. Yes, it is a tool, right? That's all it is.
Exactly.
But a lot of what we do is people development. enabling trust, enabling the organization and the people within it to move through these processes.
Yeah.
AI could never and can never do that. I think
Never.
it's safe to say that we are quite safe within our field.
Yes, we are incredibly safe within our field. Technology can't continue to progress
Mm,
without people like us, change leaders and change managers, to be there to support adoption. Maybe it's not large scale adoption. Maybe it's micro adoption, right? Let's think about like the agile model of project management versus waterfall model of project management. Like, what is going to be required of us as change managers as AI continues to learn and to grow, as the iterations and the release dates of technology potentially get smaller and smaller because it's advancing at such a faster level. So, in my perspective, if change managers around the world today are not leveraging AI, that's
mm,
when you can get left behind.
right.
We need to
You need to
think about
leverage
the way we do
it.
things so that
Mm-hmm.
we can add the most value, really.
Real, exactly. Well said. Well said. I love how you say that word, irritative. I can never say that word.
Iterative.
That
You've got it though. You almost got it.
iterative. I can't say it. You know, that Jamaican accent.
I
I just like so
love your accent.
agile.
There you go. There you go. You got it.
So agile. You said it beautiful,
Thank
beautiful.
you.
But Chris, thank you so much for this, this conversation, this connection. And is there any last takeaway that you'd like our audience to know?
Um, I think there's so much opportunity to rethink how we can be more effective and efficient as change managers. And I guess I've got two tips. The first tip is continue to learn and to grow. Don't think of yourself as a genius at anything. You've always got something else to learn. So lead with a growth mindset. Um, the second is you don't have to do it alone. Right? There are people like you, Camille. There are people like me, people around the world who do what we do or are interested in getting into change, who just need to reach out, right?
Right,
You and I lead from a place of abundance, and already we're sharing information. So
right.
I think that is really the two most important things. Um, my favorite quote in life is, "A life lived in fear is a life half lived."
Mm,
And so I try to practice that in everything I do, even in
mm,
business. I ask the
mhm.
questions that people are too afraid to ask.
Right.
I will create experiences for my executive teams so
Mm,
that they can understand what the change feels like, right?
mm,
Whereas some people are like, I wouldn't dare do that to them.
right, right.
So we have a unique opportunity as change managers, whether we're on a project or whether we're embedded in impact and culture,
Mhm.
to not be disruptors, but be the translators of disruption and disrupt intentionally when we need to.
Yes, disrupt intentionally. I love it. Christina, tell our viewers where they can find you, how they can work with you and connect with you.
It's various different ways. So you can find me on LinkedIn. It's under my personal LinkedIn, Cristina Herrera. Also my website, ChristinaHerreraConsulting.com. But also under the same name, I'm on Instagram as well. So you can find me various different ways. Reach out. I'll make sure to give, Camille my email address, and you can share it whenever you share this as well. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter where in the world you're from. I think we're one community. We just don't know it yet.
There you
And
go.
yeah, looking forward to
Christina is
hearing from
everywhere.
you.
You can find her everywhere. You can find her everywhere. Okay,
Yeah.
people. So reach out. She's an amazing coach. Trust me. She's just the best. The
Thank
best.
you. I
Yes.
appreciate that.
Personally, I know that. Christina has helped me a lot. So, yes. So, there you go, viewers. We thank you again for tuning in. And I hope to see you next time on the Expert Corner. Bye.
Bye.